Well, hello, good afternoon everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. I have an interesting video for you today. We're going to talk about the Newpowa 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter. Now what this does is this converts 12 volt to 110 volt. So you can use this in RVs and things like that. Now, I'm very excited about this unit. You can see here that I have the cable and I also have the remote switch. So they included this with it. So this is the remote switch. You plug in that, looks like a phone cable, plug that in, and then this will allow you to remotely turn on or off the power inverter without having to actually get down to wherever this is installed. You can do it from that remote switch. So I thought that was super cool. Now I want to say thank you right off the bat to Newpowa for sending this out for review. I'm very excited about it. So here's a look at the side of the packaging, and there's a lot of details listed, 10 different details. Number one, you have an on-off switch. Number two is an LED green and a red LED on number three. That's your fault indicator, your normal working indicator, your exponential display, remote control, USB 5 volt, output sockets, 4 of them, so that's number 7. That's your receptacles. And then of course number 8, there's 2 fans on the back. Number 9, the negative electrode, that's where you plug in the negative from your battery bank. And number 10 is your positive. Again, this is the 2000 watt model. So you can see here it says main applications: solar power, household, in your vehicle, emergency. And then these are the protection features that this unit has. So it's got under voltage protection, over voltage protection, over temperature protection, over load protection, and short circuit protection. So I thought that was very, very cool. Now the fact that this is a pure sine wave inverter, that's one thing that I'm very excited about. If you're going to be running any kind of laptops or video editing or any kind of medical equipment or any TVs or anything like that that requires clean electricity, sine wave is what you want. So again, pure sine wave output, 90% high conversion efficiency, smart fan control system, protection functions, like I said, over voltage protection, under voltage protection, over temperature protection, overload protection, and output short circuit protection. Very cool. LCD function, working status, and then of course, like it says, remotely operated panel, which is what I showed you just a second ago. So we're going to go ahead and open this package and see what's included in the package. I'm so excited. This thing is heavy. So we roll the package out. Oh, there it is right there. Obviously you can see there's nothing left in the box, so I'm going to set that aside. Now the first thing we see here is this bag full of accessories. It's pretty simple. You've got the owner's manual right here. Then the next thing that you see are the brackets. These are the brackets that mount to the side of the inverter so that you can put the screws down here to mount this thing down to a piece of wood. So that's super cool. And then of course they give you these screws. And these screws are so if you want to anchor this thing down into whatever you're going to set it down and anchor it to. So I think that's cool. It comes with those little lag screws. So as you can see, it comes included with 2 number 4 AWG wires. So these are very nice. I would probably go a little bit thicker personally. I'd maybe jump that up to a number 2, go a little heavier. And then these run from the back of the power inverter to the battery. Okay, so very cool. And as you can see, everything is packaged very nice, very clean. So here's a look at the unit itself from the front. And here's the side. You see that we have the 4 AC receptacles. You have your on and off switch. You have your remote that you plug that phone line into, and it goes to this switch here. And then you've got your USB 5 volt 2.5 amp output. And then of course, if you look at the side, there's nothing there but those 3 screws. That's where you would mount those brackets like I showed you a second ago. So these bad boys would line up just like so, and then you run your screws straight down like that into whatever mounting surface you're going to mount this to. So the same thing is on the other side, the mounting holes. And then of course on the back you've got dual fans. So this is pretty cool. You don't want to install this on a wall upside down like that, because the fans are going to be blowing air out, and since heat rises, it's going to be going against these fans. So if you have to mount this thing on any kind of wall, make sure that you mount it with the fans pointing up towards the sky, so that heat can go up and out of the unit. But they say not to mount it this way anyway. They say to mount it horizontal if you can. So right here, these are the terminals. They have these little plastic screws on there, and it holds these covers over the places where you put the wires. So let me see, how did those come out? They just wiggle right off. You can see there's a flat washer, there's a crush washer, and a nut, and it's all stainless steel, so very nice. And then all these plastics do is they just protect the terminals and the wires from, if you drop a wrench or something down there, you're not going to short circuit this unit. So that's basically what those little covers are for. Yeah, and that's what it looks like without the covers installed. So right here is some information. So make sure that you feel free to pause your screen if you want to read this information. Super excited about this unit. Sine wave inverters are fantastic because they put out really clean electricity. So there we go. And let me go grab a crescent wrench. I want to make sure that these are nice and snug, and get them nice and tight. Now we'll put the covers on just like so, and again these protect the wires in the event of something falling. So there they are. That way if a wrench falls, it doesn't short these wires out. You have those covers there. Let's get these guys started, and you don't want to tighten these too much, because this stuff can strip out, so be careful. That's why I'm using the clutch on my drill. And don't use any screws longer than the screws that are provided. If you lose one of these screws, make sure that you get the same length. You don't want to accidentally put too long of a screw in there, because then you'll get into the electronics and possibly damage something inside. Maybe short out or something like that. So there we have it. So now this thing will sit flat, and then I can run the screws down. I'm not going to use these lag bolts. I'm just going to use regular screws, just wood screws, to hold this thing down. Okay, you can see there is my deep cycle battery down there. I have my negative, and then I have my positive coming from my solar charge controller. So I'll just drop this bad boy just down here, just like so. Let it sit somewhere where it's comfortable, but I also want to make sure that I have plenty of airflow all the way around this and all the way around the battery. So something like that right there actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to pop a couple screws in. These are just short little 1-inch screws. These are just wood screws, nothing crazy. You don't need nothing crazy. It's just to hold this thing down so that it's not moving around on you. So I'll just pop these screws in. One. So I really like how these brackets are. They make it super simple. Let's get that right there. 2. From here, it's just about plugging these guys in. But what I need to do is I need to do the negative terminal first, and then I'll do the positive terminal. And you want to make sure that you're prepared to see a spark when you connect to the positive, because this power inverter has capacitors in it. So you're just prepare yourself to see a little bit of spark. And I always install the negative line first. When I make this contact, I'm going to try to make it real quick and do it all at once. That way it's a real quick spark and it's done. Okay, I make a real fast connection. And again, the bigger the power inverter, the more spark you'll see. So now we are officially installed with the power inverter, with the exception of this remote switch. So the remote switch, I don't know quite where I'm going to install it yet, but what I will do is I'll plug it in just for the sake of this video. So this plugs in, it's proprietary, so it only goes in one way. You can't put it in backwards. So that wire goes in just like that. And then right here it's the same thing, just like, I mean, it's like a phone line. It just plugs in right there into that port. Very simple. And then from here, this is the power button. We push that and you can see the power inverter turns on. It gives me the voltage of my battery. It gives me what the out voltage is. It gives me sine wave, and it also shows me what kind of wattage I'm using. Okay, so this is going to be mounted to wherever I'm going to mount this, maybe on the wall somewhere or something like that. So this is really nice to have this remote unit. And I think this cable, if I remember correctly, this cable is about 6 feet long, this phone line, if you will. So it gives me a little bit of room to do what I'm going to do. Now the last thing that I'd recommend, and this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to plug in a power strip into the inverter. And this power strip is going to be what I'm going to plug my devices into when I want to run something. And then from here, I just turn on my power strip and plug in whatever I need to plug in. We're going to go ahead and plug this vacuum cleaner in. This is going to be a little bit loud, but it'll give us an indicator of what it's going to look like. So right now the power strip is off. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the power strip. So now I have power. And we're going to take a look at this as I turn on this noisy vacuum. That was very interesting. I noticed one thing here on this remote switch. When it gives me the numbers of the wattage that it's pulling, that middle number is not working. I was pulling 850 something watts. So let me take a look down here at this with the camera, and I'll do that same thing again and we'll see what those numbers look like. Okay, let's take a look at that one more time. A little closer with those numbers. It's going to get noisy again. So let's kick this bad boy on. That is fantastic. This power inverter does a really nice job. That power is clean power. The main thing that I'm going to be using this for is just to turn the unit on and off. That way I don't have to lift this seat and get this seat out of the way and all that just to turn it on and off. I can just do it remotely. Just 1, 2, as soon as you see the light, let the button up, and now you have all your numbers, your display. And I like that it gives you a voltage reading of your battery. I think that's pretty cool. Now this isn't going to be the battery that I'm going to use full time out here. This is just something that's going to get me started. I am going to invest in a lithium iron phosphate battery, but I'm saving money for that right now. So until I can get the money built up for that, I'm going to be using this 100 amp lead acid battery. So anything that I want to plug in, I just plug into this power strip. I don't have to worry about trying to wire this thing into the Chinook or anything like that. I just have a nice little power strip here. I'll probably maybe run a hole through the bottom down here or something, and I might mount it somewhere on the outside out here, so whatever I need to plug in, I've got 2,000 watts of power. So this is going to power just about everything I need. It'll power phone chargers, obviously very simple. It'll charge batteries. I can charge all my flashlights. I can charge my Bluetti. I can, you know, those are all the little things, but I could run my vacuum cleaner, run my Instant Pot, things like that. So I really want to say thank you once again to Newpowa for sending this unit out for review. I really like it. I'm going to be testing it. The installation was a breeze. It was very simple. I like the fact that it came with the cables and stuff, and it's very simple. Very easy, very simple unit. And I think it's going to serve me very well. Now, all I got to do now is figure out where I'm going to mount this at. With all that being said, folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video of the Sine Wave 2000 watt inverter by Newpowa. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and until next time, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.